Morning, guys. Today's Tuesday and in don't date 26 Kame. I just arrived in Msebenzini, and I want you guys to spend the day with me. Yeah, so Msebenzini, working and yonke loo nto ndiyenza emsebenzini. Then later on I'll be attending book launch ka ONEZWA. Yeah, let's go. Ngase ngithethe ngezandla because kusekuseni. But yeah, savuma. Sashuthi andifake itayi apha so that outfit yami izopopha. But yeah, guys, it's a vlog. Awufuna uthi hi kwi-vlog? Uzawuthi hi xa sesiyothenga ikofu.
So silapha in Bizo here for coffee. So it's in the morning. We need coffee so that
Sibe right.
Warren,
Good morning. All right, say hi.
Guys, I hope you all okay.
Next, I saw police Next.
hi, you're here to get coffee.
Which one?
Song is covered.
Hey, angafaki iswekile. Only put chai. Thank you. Oh, sorry. See a photo bomba, son. Thank you. Shota yon. Hi guys, we're going out for lunch. Ingathi le camera yami ayosulisekanga nje sana. Sase saqhunqwanyana.
conversations with people who make meals using items they've grown. And a forever fave. But tonight, welcome the author of A Food Love Story. But yeah, strict closing time, guys, so we'll observe the closing hours. We'll talk to ONEZWA for an hour, and then you'll have a chance to get your book signed.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Who's got a copy of A Food Love Story? How projected tonight. There's hundreds of people here. So let's start with the title, A Food Love Story, and then it'll open up the conversation.
First of all, I am so shocked that there are so many people here, so I'm going to take it in. Just give me a second to just take in the number of people that are here. I did not know Cape Town loved A Food Love Story. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's cold, but thank you so much for coming out. Now, to answer your question, the title, A Food Love Story. So I began working on the book about 3 years ago. When I started working on the book, it was simply a love letter to my mother. So it was a love story for my mother because she was the one that had gotten me into cooking. And when I started working on the book and pouring my story out and pouring my heart out into the book, I realized that it was a love story of so many things that I loved. A love for community, a love for food, a love for connection, and a love for a simpler life. And the book became about healing, about grief, and about the love that brought me here. So the title wasn't meant to stick. It was just how I named the document on my computer.
And then Jonathan Bull was like,
and then they were like, so what title are you thinking? I was like, oh, I just called it A Food Love Story. And they were like, perfect, we love it. And now it's A Food Love Story.
They didn't have to edit you at all. It was perfect from the beginning. I love that you mentioned your mother because at the beginning of the book, you talk about when you were born.
Yes.
Which was very unconventional.
Yes.
You were born in December.
Yes.
We share that. Sag season. We'll see you at the end of the year. Yeah. As a fellow Sag, I see you. As a fellow December baby, I see you. As a
I was very attached to my mother.
on the apron.
Yes, absolutely. Much like my son is. And the way it shows in itself in my cooking is that my mother grew all our vegetables, we had livestock, and everything was always homemade, and I was always involved in the process of making the food, even if it was just from an observation point of view. So I've always been involved in the process, and I think that it's shaped my values as a... I promised I wouldn't cry tonight.
Will allow,
but it's going to be hard. And when we shot the recipe in studio for the book, it was umlekwa. I remember Okanya said, you're the one who's going to make it, and I said, okay. In the middle of making the book, it sort of just dawned on me that without this recipe or without all of those memories and the love and the nurturing that I've received from her, none of this would be happening. And when you're in the process of writing the book, there are so many moments where you zone out because a lot of it is admin, a lot of it is editing, a lot of it is being told absolutely not, and your ego gets bruised a lot. So in that moment, it sort of came back to me why I wanted to do this, why this book exists, and I think I cried the whole day. I'm a crier.
Now, what we have now, those tears were worth it. You know, we've spoken about the emotion.
Who is Ziggy?
You spoke about your community. How did you take your community along when you were writing the story?
No, you thought we were finishing up, but no, we're not actually.
A lot of the knowledge that I have is knowledge because I sat down with the people in my community when I moved back home and I started asking the questions. And one of the first questions was, how do I start gardening? So for every recipe that exists because I started gardening, it is because of my community. So So my community has always been a part of this process throughout. Besides the recipes that are my own, but even in the way that I live, in the way that
in a young child that is being bullied at school. I know I watched some of your videos at some point when you spoke this. You said, hey, you're not going to take it. If you're going to ask that question, meaning that you are not part of my life or my community. So to a young boy, a young girl that is being bullied, I'll talk about Cape Town because we're in Cape Town. That needs to find a voice. I know there's a book, Find Me. However, finding a voice again, to be able to speak, to be able to do an oral after being bullied by teachers. I remember recently we saw Umaga Delani coming for Udelani. What are we doing? What would we say to Udelani Omnani? Like your child being bullied at school, what would you say for that child to find a voice again? Thank you.
A lot of what I talk about is community, and where I grew up, it really does take a village, and I think that in raising children, everybody needs to step up, right? I can't say personally as a parent, you need to be confident if the community is not fostering that kind of belief around the children. And I think that we've become such individuals in how we raise our children. We're raising our children as islands, which really does not work for anybody at the end of the day. So I think that it's time maybe for us as a community to
because Abraham was from my name. What kind of pay? There we go. I'm driving from the book launch. It was so nice. I could say late. Oh my goodness. We even went I never was past 10. We were supposed to be out of that place on 9. But we don't mind because we are as mind was sihleli nomuntu wethu that we love and support. Man, people are so supportive. Ladies are so supportive. And it made me realize that building a strong community for yourself is such an important thing, man. Ibalulekile into yoba ube ne-community yakho, and xa ufumene lo community yakho is stable, noba yintoni abantu bakho will support you ngenhliziyo ezingenamikhimbi. Inhle mali lento ndisuka kuyo pha inhle, it's very nice. Safika endlini ngoku ndilale ndizijule.